first our story. I think we have a very, very unique story. I don't think any other group of people have survived the kind of atrocities we have survived and still be what we are. And for me, that's really incredible. And the audacity to even dream, because we're coming from so much dark history. Nobody's coming to save us. Africa's problems will be solved by Africans. And by any means, understand the construct that if you are not actively part of the solution, then by the very definition, you're part of the problem. It's better.
As always, we like to begin by giving thanks to our Creator and our ancestors for another day to learn, grow, and serve our community and family. So please, Kwame, can you introduce yourself and your remarkable work?
So my name is Kwame Eopoku. The last 16 years, I've traveled mostly the continent and parts of the world, preaching tech and how we can use technology to create sustainable solutions for our people. I focus a lot on the young people of the continent because I feel like we are literally the lifeline of the continent. So that's what I really focus on. Quite recently, I've done a lot of focused work on decentralized finance, the future of money, crypto, stuff like that. But mainly what I have focused on in the last 14 years is using the vehicle of public speaking and engagement and consulting, mentorship and stuff like that to engage young people in how we can use technology to create sustainable solutions for our people.
Yeah, remarkable.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
And you are a great leader.
Right.
But what inspires you most about this great nation?
Our young people. First, our story. I think we have a very, very unique story. I don't think any other group of people have survived the kind of atrocities we have survived and still be what we are. And for me, that's really incredible. Then it's the young people. It's the innovations. Is all of the grit and the audacity to even dream, because we're coming from so much dark history, if you know anything about us, and that greatly inspires me. So it's our story, it's our history, and it's our young people.
That is so true.
Right.
And we do need to learn more about our history. For my next question, what advice would you give young people who are doing your work?
So young persons who want to do what I do, I'm a public speaker. By that very definition, I'm a knowledge merchant. So I merchandise knowledge. I sell information. Yeah. And the first thing I want to say to you is that if you want to do what I do, you need to get your act together, and you need to do that by getting your knowledge together. You need to pick something that you're really good at. You need to know everything about that thing, and be careful you don't become a talk shop. So you need to be a practitioner. You need to be able to have applied the stuff that you're talking about and really check and have measurable, quantifiable impact and see, does it work, does it not work, how does it really pan out. And then you need to do the hard work of branding and marketing and consistently putting out content and looking at new market segments and keep learning, because it's lifelong learning. The day you become, like your knowledge becomes short-circuited, you're literally out of business. So if you want to do this, you're basically signing yourself off to lifelong learning, being at the edge of information, data, knowledge acquisition. You're like buried deep, maybe 30-40 hours of research a week. If you want to do it, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
So as an entrepreneur,
Right.
what are some emerging projects or innovations that you want to share with the viewers?
So probably the most important thing that I'm working on that I probably would want your community to know about is I'm currently dabbling a little bit into agriculture. I think food security will be a big thing, but outside of food security, I think organic food security will be a very important thing for.
Why do you think that's going to be?
I think that we do already have a pre-existing health pandemic, if you think about it, and our people are the way we are because of what we consume. It's because of what we eat. It's because of our weather. It's because of the uniqueness of everything that we have. And I think once you start changing that, if you look at the West, for instance, the America specifically has an obesity pandemic. Why do they have that? It's just what they eat, right? You can't even hide it.
Yeah.
And so if we allow them, unfortunately, I hope I don't get controversial, if we allow them to dictate our food policies, then we're in trouble. And already we're seeing a saturation in the market of all sorts of GMO enhanced food and all of that. And I feel like very soon the luxury industry of this world will be those who are able to afford organic food. So not only for profit, but really for the preservation of our people, for the preservation of generations, because I don't want my kids to grow up on only GMO food. I want them to have the option of so that's something that I'm really working on. We're currently acquiring farmlands across different places in Ghana, and we want to engage young people and say, hey, grow what you eat and eat what you grow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
So, in terms of entrepreneurship, what challenges or barriers have you faced that you have overcome? And are there any important lessons that you learned that you'd be willing to share with the viewers?
My biggest was when I started this, the market was just not responding. We didn't have a very active knowledge economy in this country at the time. People didn't really value knowledge like that. Like why should I pay $5,000 for consultancy? What you gonna tell me? You know what I mean? Like, so it was a real thing. How did I overcome it? I switched the markets. So I started pointing towards markets that already knew that knowledge was important and were ready to pay for it. And then what happened was, over time, as those markets recognized what I was doing and I got paid for it, back at home they were like, okay, if they're paying for him there, he must have something to say. So eventually they started sort of shifting. And the biggest lesson I have learned is never cast your pearl before swine, right? Whatever it is you're selling, there's a market for it. Unless, of course, it's a redundant idea, and I mean, you if you're in that scope, you shouldn't. But never cast your pearl before swine. If that particular audience or market segment is not responding, do the necessary research and point it to the other market. There's a reason why Lamborghini does not advertise to a certain class of people.
Yeah.
Same reason why Toyota doesn't.
They know the target
They
market.
know the target market.
The
And
target
so
audience.
maybe you have a Lamborghini and you are marketing to the Toyota crowd.
Yeah.
There's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So what you got to do is understand what you offer, understand your market avatar, understand your target audience, and point it to the right people.
Yeah. That's amazing. For my
you.
next question, what excites you the most about your current work?
Ooh, I love all of it. I love traveling. I really love traveling. I hate traveling in Africa, but I love traveling. It's better when you travel outside Africa, but I love traveling. I love seeing a beautiful continent. I love meeting young people and just hearing the struggles. If you interacted with somebody in Kampala or in Nairobi, and then you traveled down and spoke to somebody in Warri in Nigeria, and then came down here and spoke to somebody in Techiman, you realize that our stories are the same. We have similar struggles, we have similar dreams and ideas and aspirations, and I love that, just hearing people's stories. And the most important thing that I really enjoy is when you get on stage and that one line answers the question for the person, and they've been thinking and looking for that answer for the last 1 year, and just that one line, and then you see the spark in their eyes and their face lights up. That for me is absolutely worth everything that I do. Yeah.
That's astonishing.
Yeah.
And for my next question, who are some leaders
Right.
or mentors that
Right.
you wish to amplify today that have inspired you?
Oh, everybody that knows me knows one guy, our South African entrepreneur, highest paid public speaker, Vuzita McCoy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. That's my guy. He is a phenomenal guy. There's another man in Kenya called Robert Burali.
Yes.
Robert Burali is also my guy. Those two guys, VT in particular, inspired my entire journey on Blueprint.
Who? Say it again?
Vuzi.
Who's he?
He inspired my entire journey and Blueprint. Burali is somebody I met maybe about 3 years ago, and I just love the work that he's doing in East Africa. In Nigeria, there's some really, really awesome people as well. There's Steve Harris.
Yeah, the tech industry in
The
Nigeria
tech industry
big.
is amazing. I
Yeah.
absolutely love them. And what I love really also about Nigeria is the women. The women are trailblazers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I have some amazing. If you're looking at like mentors in general, there's a woman in Nigeria called Tricia Biz, Tricia Biz, as in Tricia Business. There's another one called the Niger Brand Chick, a phenomenal women doing amazing work. In Nigeria, there's Jimmy Tewe, there's Steve Harris. There is Fela Durotori, who actually ran for president, which was amazing. Young, brilliant man. He is into public speaking and the knowledge economy as well. Ran for president, obviously didn't win, but that sent a very strong message. So those are a few people I can talk about. Here in Ghana, there's a phenomenal woman called Jibodi Kweku. She's phenomenal. She's like my mom. She's really, really amazing. So those are a few people who, even if it's not direct mentorship, they're people I learn a thing or two from.
Yeah, from watching their stories
and seeing the way they move. It's really,
how they carry themselves.
But my biggest guy is Vuzi. Vuzi is he's a beast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have, on that note, do you have any closing thoughts or call to action?
I have one that I take everywhere, and it's pretty simple. I'll look at you and say this to you. Nobody's coming to save us. Africa's problems will be solved by Africans. And by any means, understand the construct that if you are not actively part of the solution, then by the very definition, you're part of the problem. So it's okay. Our history is tattered, it's bad. I understand. Things are hard. There are pressings from the political elite. The economy is tattered. I understand. You can either believe in the excuse or you can work against the excuse. Never in the history of the world has it been possible through the medium of technology to be able to create value and distribute it across market segments. So this is me saying to you, whatever the excuse is valid and it's true. But that is not a reason to sit where you still are. So Africa is waiting on you. And most importantly, understand that posterity will judge you if you do not deliver that solution, that business, that initiative. If you don't deliver it, there are unborn generations who will lose out on a better life, on a better continent because you refuse to move. So that will be my closing thoughts.
That's a very powerful
Thank you so
closing
much,
thought.
Kwame.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much for
having
coming.
me.
We
And
appreciate you coming very much.
Thank
We
you.
do. As always, we want to close out how we began by just giving thanks to our creators and our ancestors for another day to grow, learn, and serve our community and family. Thank you so much for coming. I
Thank
appreciate
you for
your
having
time.
me. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you, Kwame.
All right. It's